My brain is melting because today when I was talking to a friend on the phone, he told me he was going to the store, and I, without hesitation, blurted out, "Protect yourself, make sure you watch your six, and mark an exit before you get in." I started rattling off a bunch of survival tips just off the top of my head, and I had to say to myself, is this normal? Yeah, for me it is. There's a lot of things in this world that are disturbing to me now that I look at it in retrospect.
Hey, what's your name? Maverick? That is awesome. How old are you, Maverick? He is 4 years old. Show me what you do with the gun. Do it again. Take the magazine out. Oh, can you put it back in? High
Uvalde is preparing their goodbyes for their final victim from the Robb Elementary massacre.
The family of Layla Salazar will hold her funeral at Sacred Heart Catholic Church for the 11-year-old. Family said she loved dancing and singing, and Layla was known for singing with her father every morning heading to school and again on her way home with her mother.
People like this are so strange to me. They are finding ways to help this kid associate fun with a tool of death. These are the same people that will be shocked when a racist white boy walks into a predominantly black store with the N-word all over his gun and then shoots and kills 10 black people. They'll seem shocked and say that there's no way they would have known. When I was this kid's age, I played with the Batman toy. It was about a foot tall, and a special feature besides it being extremely stiff and heavy was that with 4 batteries, you could make his eyes glow in the dark. I would use this toy to navigate through the kitchen in the middle of the night when I got hungry to sneak a few snacks. This is what I was doing as a child. What do you think is the over-under that this kid grows up to shoot a person before the age of 25? Maybe this is the new normal, because the NRA is currently having a fashion show for its biggest growing demographic, old middle-aged white women. And we know how important it is for old middle-aged white women to be well armed, because if this old middle-aged white woman was armed, based on the lie she told about this person, Christopher Cooper wouldn't be hosting his very first TV show. He would probably be in an obituary section, and we would be none the wiser about what really happened. Don't believe me? Ask Emmett Till. It has been 0 days since the last mass shooting in America, and it has been 10 days since the Uvalde massacre, which involved 21 women and children being slaughtered by this piece of trash. But you want to know how he got that gun? Working at Wendy's. Do you want to know how long it took him to buy this many guns? I like to look at your dollar menu, please. 9 weeks. I think my nose is about to start bleeding. And then I was sitting here thinking to myself, why does Batman fuck with the Joker? Like, in big picture, why is the Joker considered to be Batman's arch nemesis? Like, what does this clown have to do with anything that made Batman? Like, how is his greatest enemy a clown and not the NRA? Like, fuck the Penguin, miss me with these Riddler trophies, and to hell with this big fat head ass freezer motherfucker. When in reality, the person who is responsible for killing his parents is Joe Chill, and Joe Chill killed Batman's parents using a gun. The main point here is Batman is focused on the wrong thing. Batman's focus should be on gun control. Look, my name is Heero, and this is the Identity Booth. Let's have a conversation about if Batman could possibly fix the gun issues in America. Before we get started, I'd like to let you all know that this is a coping mechanism. As I might seem very calm and pleased and happy with the work that I've put forward for you guys to enjoy, understand that deep down inside, I am losing it. I am having a mental breakdown, and it is quite apparent to me that we're all probably going through our own psychotic break as we're trying to figure out why our elected officials are okay with watching civilians die for money. And I want you to understand something. What I'm about to say in the next 15 to 20 minutes as you watch this video is just me coping with the madness that is today's world. If for any strange reason you tried to bring logic into a conversation where I am using a fictional group of characters, particularly one that had to watch his parents die, went out into the middle of nowhere, became a man bat, came back, figured out that he was going to fight a bunch of other psychopaths in order to make himself feel better, and I am now figuring out a way to use this fictional character and his fictional family to somehow solve my real world problems, and you take any aspect of this conversation serious other than observing the simple fact and the ludicrous idea that I have to do this because no one else is willing to stand up and do their goddamn forsaken job in our Congress, well then you, my friend, are a complete utter and gutter trash. And I don't really think anything highly of you as you sit there frantically typing in my comment sections about, oh, I think I could solve this problem. Shut the fuck. Okay? Shut the fuck. There are kids dying in schools. Guns kill people. And people are just tools for guns to use to continue killing people. Where were we? TLDR, Baby Batman was watching a movie with his fam when he saw something scary and his punk ass started crying. Baby Bat made his family leave early. They could have walked around the block like a normal group of people to get to their car, but instead Thomas Wayne, Bat Baby's daddy, says, nah, let's take a shortcut. And upon having this great idea, they got mugged. And then that quickly got upgraded to being murdered. And in that moment, Baby Bat lost both his parents because shortcuts or something like that. But I'd like to point two things out that are like loopholes in this. Scenario one is $100 billion man is leaving a movie theater and there's no security, there's no valet parking, there's no paparazzi, there's nobody caring about this man moving throughout Gotham City. Like, what's going on here? And then two, this is something that goes over a lot of people's heads, but where the fuck was Alfred? Where the fuck was Alfred? Alfred, the person who is literally paid to do one thing, which is serve the people he works for. And you mean to tell me there's a situation where the three members of this family are all gathered in one place and you're not there to serve them? And you just collectively, Thomas Wayne, you just collectively said, know what, Alfred, take the night off. I'm beginning to think Thomas Wayne was asking for it. Y'all gonna hate me in the comment section. And with all of that out of the way, let's get into the three possible ways Batman could possibly fix the gun issues in America. I'd like to ask you a question.
You stay here. I'm in charge.
Do you feel in charge?
Can Bruce Wayne, as a businessman, solve the gun issues in America? Before this is even posed as a question, it has to be asked, can Bruce Wayne afford the NRA? The answer is yes. As of 2020, Batman was worth $100 billion. The NRA in 2020 made $282 million. Notable years of high financial gains came in 2018 when they managed to raise $353 million. So Batman has the money, but can he truly buy the NRA? Yeah, he could.
What are your superpowers again? I'm rich.
The NRA is a company like any other in America, but it has to spend all of its money as it is known as a non-profit. But him simply buying the NRA just to dismantle it wouldn't be the effective way of ending gun violence in America. He would have to buy it and actually run it as a business, as him dismantling it would only lead to another popping up and propagating itself as the new NRA. As a businessman, he would have to buy the influence of hundreds of other business and actually invoke a new way of thinking about guns. With this, he would have to acquire new lobbyists and new politicians in order to help push his agenda forward through the government. In our world, money talks, and this doesn't change no matter the situation. The NRA has a lot of influence, but it gained a lot of that influence through buying it. And we know our politicians do not come cheap. These are a list of all the politicians that took money from the NRA. This is the person who took the most money from the NRA, and we know he is not loyal to anybody. Ask his wife.
The one who called you a liar. The one who said your wife was ugly. That guy. You know, the guy now who you won't say anything about.
He would also have enough money to buy a few gun warehouses, a few gun manufacturers. He would probably have enough money to buy a few ammunitions, a few distilleries, probably have the money to buy a few natural resources where these metals are mined. And by controlling the resource, circumventing the need to go in and try and stop gun manufacturing. He would figure these things out, and he has the money to do it. His money would start to wear thin, though, as he started to try and figure out a method of getting civilians to turn in their weapons. As a businessman, that is pretty much the extent of his power. He might be able to change the narrative and buy ads and guarantee that the way we talk about guns and our education on guns change, but it wouldn't be enough to get civilians to hand over their weapons, as no businessman would probably be able to do that. So this is unfortunately where this experiment would end. Batman, as a businessman, Bruce Wayne, would probably be only able to change surface level things that we would want to see, but he would probably end up needing a lot more help in a different way. Let me explain. Can I ask you a question?
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
Could Bruce Wayne as a politician fix the gun issues in America? Off top, I'm telling you right now, Bruce Wayne would run as a Republican in the Senate or in Kentucky. He would literally have to infiltrate the biggest, oldest Republican party and dissolve it from within, using blackmail and a host of other things and resources to try and get his family into government. It would be astonishing to see, but slowly but surely, this charming, suave individual would charm the American people while somehow trying to keep his poll numbers up, and also have to be seen as a relatable individual while being a billionaire, all while trying to also hide the fact that he is a bat at night. It would be extremely difficult for Bruce Wayne to live a double life. That is why the Bat family would be so important in this procedure. Eventually, I would see Bruce Wayne infiltrating our political systems within 3 to 4 years and making himself a staple of the Senate. And within the first 5 years of him holding his seat, he would be able to do some devastating things. 1, a ban on all assault rifles. 2, extensive background check, insurance, annual recertifications, community approval boards, mental evaluations, and safety storage evaluations on homes. 3, age requirements for handling any weapon would go all the way up to 25 if there was no job requirement. 4, making bad sellers of weapons liable for damages. And number 5, getting 3 letters from your neighbors explaining why you deserve a gun. This will cripple the gun in America. And it's not really a question of if we can do it, it's why haven't we done it yet? We have prime examples of gun-free zones and gun-free countries all throughout the civilized world. My point is, we live in a society where we are beyond trying to fight with arms about our issues, and we don't need guns to solve our problems anymore. So while in reality this would take the longest to accomplish, this would be the most surefire way to make sure that all guns in America were completely removed off the streets. But there is another way. Let me ask you one more question.
The hell are you supposed to be? I'm vengeance.
Could Batman and the Bat families remove all guns from America? Gun nuts will say, we need our guns to stop a tyrannical government. Shut the fuck up. This is what happens when a 950 JDJ is fired at bulletproof items. I don't know if I mentioned this also, but did you know that they could attach that to a plane? You and your AR-15 stand no chance against that. A lot of people are sitting here concerned about what they would do against a tyrannical government without really understanding that your tax dollars have been funding one of the most tyrannical governments ever seen on the face of the planet. But y'all never seem prepared to bear arms for the BLM movements, you know, back when they killed George Floyd, Michael Brown, Tatiana Jefferson, Sandra Bland. Oh, you want less racial examples? Women's rights. You want less woke examples. Our government's been allowing corporations to dump waste into our natural drinking waters for decades, hundreds of years, dare I say. You want less eco examples. The Supreme Court just ruled in federal cases where new evidence has been introduced and a person is on death row or serving any length of prison sentence, this new information cannot be used to gain them freedom from prison. People will sit here and try and tell you that the Second Amendment is one of the most important amendments known to man, even though it's the second. The simple fact is your ability to vote is truly the most important weapon you have in dealing with a tyrannical government, because if it hasn't dawned on you yet, they've put more regulations on voting than they have guns, and the last time I checked, voting never killed anybody. So let's get into it. At Batman's peak, in my opinion, is about 5 years after his debut as Batman. Some stats for people who aren't really sure what peak Batman looks like. Batman can bench press 1,000 pounds. Batman can leg press 2,500 pounds. Batman can run 20 miles at a pace of 4 minutes and 50 seconds per mile. Let me be clear. Besides the fact that Batman has a physical advantage over most humans in this world, on a mental and knowledge base, he is unmatched. This is the same individual at his peak that has trained with immortal assassins, given enough prep time can literally solve any issues, has the mental awareness to be prepared for magic, ghost. He has handled serial killers, mass murderers, militaries, genetic metahumans, aliens, and god tier issues. He has casually gotten into top secret buildings and removed himself before anyone knew he was there. So your ring light ain't about to do shit to this man. He has dodged point blank gunfire and has managed to outmaneuver the Omega beams. And just so we're clear, there's only one other person that's ever dodged an Omega beam, and it wasn't Superman. It was Barry Allen, the fastest man alive. He has enough technology to immobilize any individual using either a glue gun or a freeze gun cannon. In addition to that, he can make any weapon that discharges gunpowder or has a metal component rendered unusable using a magnetic resonant weapon that jams weapons. And in most situations, this is how it would work. You would see a shadowy figure running towards you, and before you knew it, you'd be on the ground, disarmed, and probably bleeding profusely. And if you think there's power in numbers, you'd be sadly mistaken, as Batman basically went into Arkham Asylum, which held about 800 of the worst criminals known to Gotham, including metahumans. He went into this building willingly and basically took out all 800 prisoners and a few guards for good measures. And just so we're clear, those people also had weapons, guns, batons, riot shields, electric batons, knives, broken bottles, and a host of other weapons. It doesn't matter. He rolled all their asses up. Oh, and did I mention the metahumans? One of them being a lizard, a Venus flytrap, a steroid out hugging machine, and the Joker twice? And I'm not really trying to sell anybody on this. I ran a poll and a lot of you guys agreed. Batman would be damn near unstoppable. If he truly wanted to put all of his efforts into stopping gun violence in America, he could do it. You guys agree with me. While many of you nerds and gun nuts are frantically typing at your keyboard trying to explain a way that you could stop Batman from taking your guns from you, I want you to understand something. He wouldn't even show up to your house personally. He would probably send someone like Damian, the Signal, or maybe Stephanie, the fourth Robin. Batman wouldn't have to come get you, as all of these people are either equal or 80% as good as Batman, and that would be more than enough to take your weapons from you. Let's just be clear. Batman would send out a very stern, strict message basically stating, submit your weapons to law enforcement or suffer the consequences. And all of us would collectively say fuck that and either take our guns to the police department or leave our guns outside of our homes for them to be collected by either Batman or the police. But let's use a city that most Republicans believe have the most gun violence in America, Chicago. What? They don't. So then who's number one? St. Louis. Wow, really? St. Louis. Okay, then Chicago has to be number 2. Jackson, Mississippi? Really? But their politicians get so much money from the NRA. You would think that it'd be a safer place. No, it's not, huh? Okay, then Chicago has to be number... Gary, Indiana? Are you kidding me? Wow. So what place is Chicago in? 28th? I wonder why Republicans keep saying that Chicago's such a dangerous place. It's almost as if they don't have any real policies or anything of relevance to say. They basically know that they campaign and win elections off of fear-mongering. And by putting the big scary Chicago big front and center, it prevents them from looking inwards and realizing that most Republican states is where most of the gun violence in this country happens. Makes sense. Using St. Louis as our example, St. Louis holds about 113,351 people, and about 48% of the people in St. Louis are gun owners. Using Arkham City as a comparable city, I was able to take down 5,000 criminals in one night of playing Arkham City. So basically what I'm saying is, in a little under 2 weeks, about 11 days, Batman by himself could take out all the guns in St. Louis. He has the help of all of these people from the Bat family. And this would obviously scale based on whatever city you want to go to. The more difficult part would be for Batman to go to these deeply red states where gun ownership is associated with a religion, a cultish vibe that these gun nuts can't seem to live without their weapons. You want to know what makes Batman so appealing?
Because I'm Batman.
He seems attainable. He is a human by all standards, a great one, but he's still human, and that's what makes him so interesting. He works amongst gods, Amazonians, aliens, and somehow manages to hold his weight, and that just doesn't happen on accident. It comes from a burning desire to do the right thing. And to be quite honest, due to the long line of killings that have literally been taking part during this generational cycle of violence, a vigilante being born out of all of this chaos is sure to happen. And with that vigilante will come vengeance. People have lost a lot. They've lost their mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, family members, friends. And this type of loss can definitely bring about a lot of fear in people. But not for these type of people. These type of people are fighters. They're survivors by force. Their childhood has molded them in the darkness. It has taken away their ability to enjoy peace and only think of vengeance. The likelihood that one of these victims of gun violence is going to have a mental breakdown due to losing one of their loved ones, train with an immortal assassin, and come across $100 billion in order to exact revenge on the gun corporations and the NRA is extremely unlikely. But best believe them running for office, protesting, coordinating, and making sure that no one else has to suffer the same type of pain they had to is definitely something that's attainable. And I want you to know, for all my cave dwellers, seekers of life in the dark, you have my support, you have my attention, and no, you are not alone in that alleyway. Stand firm, because even you can be Batman. Thanks for watching.